Alright, so while we wait for the newer stuff, let's talk about some of the popular series I made in the past channel. There will be timestamps if there's one series you're more interested in. Here we go. So I probably wrote the Just an Average Day script at the end of 2018, knowing that the original video was uploaded in January of 2019. Seeing how DDLC was just released a year before and the momentum continuing to grow, I wanted to make a skit animation involving the 4 Dokis in various skits. Whether originally scripted or parodying something, a creepy Yuri skit, and a big skit to end the video. This video was made using Adobe Premiere with a hint of After Effects, with later videos being edited by DaVinci Resolve. Of course, there was also the Flex Seal meme, which to this day remains one of my favorite skits in the video, despite giving me a blue screen of death. This video did really well, and brought me up to 200 subscribers. It may not be much, but with the original channel being stagnant at around 150 subs for 2 to 3 years, this was a pretty big milestone. Of course, I uploaded another video that blew up, but we'll get to that in the others shortly. So by November of 2019, I released a sequel, Just an Average Day at the Literature Club 2 Electric Boogaloo, which is also the longest of the series. This will involve more parody skits such as Sayori and Natsuki reenacting the Anakin vs Obi-Wan fight from Revenge of the Sith, and Yuri hosting her own version of the Firefly Funhouse. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. This was also another topical video at the time, not only for the skit just mentioned, but Red Dead Redemption 2, otherwise known as
Them Western Boys,
released on PC, and I was playing that quite a bit, which explains Monica's attire in the Halloween skit. And just like Just an Average Day 1, this video was uploaded a month after the topical holiday for one of the skits involved in the video. It was even referenced in the last skit.
Merry Christmas, Sayori!
Wait a minute. It's not Christmas, it's January.
One thing that the re-upload has over the original is that now you can hear the dialogue on both speakers, rather than just the left. So that problem has been fixed. So before talking about the final skit, I do want to say that Just an Average Day 2 was actually meant to be the last video in the series. Here's why. The final skit starts off with the Dokis recreating some of the skits from the first video, but then realizing that they've done it before. This prompts Monica to try and see if she had accidentally messed with the files, only to find that she can't access them anymore. So with the help from Cyanide, who is on the other side of the screen, finds out there is a broken file in the game's directory, and due to being busy, he brings the Dokis to his desktop so they can figure out what's going on. After some shenanigans, Monica finds out that the file was none other than Woke and Matt Hardy. And due to their common interest in deletion, it was love at first sight. After they regroup with Natsuki, he tells of a prophecy about the Dokis being in future videos, unrelated to DDLC and the Just an Average Day series. Natsuki was unsure at first, as Monica is the only one who understands him, but she eventually agrees and they move the VLC player to find Sayori and Yuri watching old abridged videos I made. And after some back and forth, Sayori goes mad, which would then be defused by Matt Hardy speaking through Notepad. Cyanide comes home to find everyone there, and is informed by Monica about everything, and Matt Hardy does the only thing we've ever seen him do as a demigod, to bring everything into place for the series after this, which is Cyanide Reviews. But again, we'll get to that soon. So in the end, Sayori and Yuri go back into the game, and the 4 start their journey in the review series. I know people wanted a 3rd installment, but I don't think I left an open-ended ending to allow for more sequels. Or I didn't, I just don't see it. Anyway, we'll move on to the 3rd one. And no, I don't mean the 3rd one on this channel, that one is 4. I'm talking about the real 3rd installment to the series. Just an Average Day 3 is objectively the worst installment of the series. The skits were alright at best and mid at worst, but the ending skit was definitely the worst one, as it was just the Dokis reacting to moments from the first 2 videos. To tell you the truth, I didn't want to make a 3rd one. Like I said earlier, 2 was supposed to be the ending, but there was demand for a 3rd one, and honestly, I only did it for the views. I was burnt out of the series. I had wrapped up Cyanide Reviews and started Cyanide Friends at this point, and figured there were more and better ideas to be had for that series. So due to being the worst one, I chose not to re-upload the original 3rd installment. You're really not missing out on much. So now, let's talk about the final installment of the series, and my last video before the original channel was deleted, Just an Average Day at the Literature Club 4. Right off the bat you can notice the difference. This was made using Gary's mod rather than any video editors or my animation program, Moho Pro. This installment involved the backrooms, Skibidi Toilet, a Yuri skit where MC was a target, and a final skit where the school was overrun by zombies. I think everyone can agree that this installment is objectively better than the original 3rd installment, and it was pretty fun to make, but I think I have reached a point where this will be the last in the Just an Average Day series. This series is more difficult to write for than any other series I'll be talking about in this video. Just thinking of original skits, finding the right things to parody, and the big skit. I figured my strong suit was in more narrative works that we will discuss later. But I think this series had a good run, despite having a stinker. Now we can start talking about the next popular series. I made my first r/lodeddiper video about a month or two after the first Just an Average Day. I found Salty DK Dan's video about the subreddit where he and his friends started reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid fanfiction. I thought this was super funny, so I decided to do a video myself. I wasn't expecting much, but throughout the week since uploading that video, it just started blowing up. I started getting more subscribers to the point where I had finally reached the monetization requirements, which was insane to me. I was so happy. Of course, eventually I had to make a second one, where I read about 6 one-off stories and I had gameplay of a Diary of a Wimpy Kid obby from Roblox as background footage. Both videos did pretty well, with the first one reaching 500,000 views, and I was planning to do more, but by that point, I was getting started on Cyanide Reviews, and that wrestling series I made using Fire Pro Wrestling World, Cyanide's Cancerous Wrestling Federation, that I just started growing out of it. When it comes to the re-upload, I know it was a popular video on the channel, so I re-uploaded both videos in one, and it managed to get 2,000 views within its first week. Hell, it might have been one of the reasons why I reached 200 and 300 subscribers in a month after I started uploading. Which is crazy to me, thank you guys so much. But to those of you who want more r/lodeddiper videos, I would like to take a moment to speak to you, creator to viewer. This is and was an animation channel. It was always meant to be an animation channel. The fact that the r/lodeddiper videos blew up was probably just luck or the algorithm being nice to me. I don't even frequent Reddit that much as I used to. But I know people like that video and probably want more Reddit readings, so I would like to propose a proposition. If you guys can help spread the word of my channel and help me reach the monetization goal of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours again within a year, I will make a second channel dedicated to r/lodeddiper and Reddit stories. I know I said I don't browse Reddit much, but I have friends who are part of the channel who do, and are willing to make that a reality. And hey, maybe it will make my reactions more genuine, rather than seeming forced or faked. If you guys do help me out with this, I will greatly appreciate it and return the favor by giving you the Reddit content you asked for. I do request that you at least give my animations a chance, maybe you'll like them. Anyway, thanks for listening, let's move on to the next series. Cyanide Reviews starts a few months after the events of Just an Average Day 2 with the first review of Soul Eater. It would start off with Cyanide being nervous attempting to be a reviewer, Monica and Matt Hardy trying to help him, and Natsuki trying to detract him. As the series went on, Cyanide would get more confidence in his reviewing ability, as attempting to name the other heroes in My Hero Academia, literally dying and interacting with the characters of Konosuba, and reviewing both Star Wars Battlefront 2 games essentially by himself. This series was created in multiple different editors. The first review was made in DaVinci Resolve, the second review was made in HitFilm Pro, the third review was made in Adobe Premiere, the fourth review went back to Resolve with the guest animator using Adobe Character Animator, and the last review was animated in Moho Pro. The final episode of the series, Alien Abduction, wasn't even meant to be the final episode. There were 3 more episodes planned for the series, eGirl.gg, which would be a Natsuki review, Watamote, and Cloverfield. In the eGirl review, Natsuki would take over due to Cyanide recovering from being anal probed, so she would go on the site and start using its services to meet some cool people, some shitheads, some simps, and some very weird people. The Watamote review would return to form, with the gang watching the show, making jokes, and reviewing the show as it went on. And Cloverfield would introduce a new gimmick, which I hate the fact that I have to censor myself, but knowing YouTube I'd rather be safe than sorry. The gimmick would be the Sleep Forever wheel. I'm sure you can put the pieces together. The Sleep Forever wheel would be used when Cyanide reviews something that he absolutely hated, and figured unaliving himself would be better than subjecting himself to more of the content he was consuming. The deaths would be meaningless as he would return in the next episode as if nothing happened, making the wheel more of a dark comedic gag rather than anything important. But back to Cloverfield for a moment, I actually like the Cloverfield movies. The wheel would just be used after Natsuki would instigate Cyanide after calling one of the characters in the movie a simp. But anyway, I actually remember getting some of the lines for the e-girl episode, but as time went on, I realized that I didn't really want to make reviews. I know the series was essentially based on Monkey Jones's Monkeys anime reviews, where the reviews wouldn't take themselves seriously and would go on tangents completely unrelated to the topic. But also when it comes to video games, I just don't want to spend money on games that I know I'm not gonna like. If we can use one as an example, the Persona series. I have nothing against Persona. If you like it, that's great. But I just don't care for the gameplay. I mean, you wouldn't want to spend money on games you don't care for, right? I will agree on one thing though. Persona has some bitchin' soundtracks. So with Alien Abduction being the final episode of the Cyanide Reviews, this brings us to the final popular series on the channel. Cyanide Friends became a passion project as soon as I had started scripting it. I knew I wanted to make a series that brought all the characters we know and love together to shoot the shit and go on adventures. This was also my first animated series venture, and as you go on watching the full series, you can see the animation gradually getting better. But honestly, I started deviating from the original vision of the series when I started meeting some of the people in one of my old servers and becoming friends with them. Some even becoming moderators for the server, so I added people into the show who weren't in the original vision. These include the original characters all introduced throughout Season 1. Icy, AK-47, Sammy, Rav4, Doggo, and Minotti. And it also included the character outside the video games and anime, which was Clone High's very own JFK. The original idea for the show was that the house would, I guess, be some kind of shapeshifter, where it would look like it was a 2-bedroom house, but instead can hold multiple rooms with vortexes to bring everyone into their respective rooms. I will agree that it was an interesting concept, but it did bring some issues during production. Another part of the original idea was that all of the characters living in the house, which was just a little bit under 20, including one person living outside the house, were going to be the main characters, which is probably also a recipe for disaster. When you see other shows, the max amount of main characters is about 5, which seems easier to manage, but with a little less than 20 as main characters, there would be a lot of people not getting a lot of screen time, as not many ideas were formed for some of those characters. It was nuts, and it probably added to the nightmare that was the original production. Now, despite that nightmare, Cyanide Friends had become my longest running series, with 20 episodes in total, including the soft reboot. But we will get to the reboot shortly. I had made machinimas with much less episodes than Cyanide Friends, though for the most part those issues were due to body acting, which I will give Cyanide Friends a ton of credit for. Working on an animated show gives you more freedom, and you don't always have to rely on other people if you need a scene with a lot of characters in it. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of great moments and memories in both seasons of Cyanide Friends, some of which I still laugh at to this day. There was even an Easter egg throughout the show where if you look hard enough you will find a predator with a Pepsi cannon. Probably the easiest found was in the shooting range episode. And we even had the 3rd season planned, which will be another video talking about those scripts. But as time went on and certain events happened, my view of the series had changed from my favorite project to a project that I find fundamentally flawed. Some of these events would involve some of the actors, some of which were OCs, to be fired, and thus had to be written out, among other things. Matter of fact, one of them was fired in the beginning of Season 2 due to getting into unnecessary fights with friends and fans in the Discord. This is what brings us to the reboots, starting with the first soft reboot with the episode Sayori's Job. Now you would notice the difference almost immediately. Rav4 and the Konosuba cast would be taken out entirely, leaving the rest of the OCs and the Dokis. I figured this would be easier, and not only that, but I'd started getting additional animation from my friends D Pinshot and Persona Legends, who also got Moho to help out with the show. Sayori's Job was a pretty good episode, but again, after some time and events, even my opinion of that had changed. Which would then lead to the soft reboot of some parts of the group having their own shows. The Dokis having their own show, Cyanide and Doggo having their own show, and Sammy and Minotti having their own show. You can see the Dokis half of the soft reboot with their videos being re-uploaded to this channel. Reason being is that these videos were the ones that did remotely well, with the other 2 shows, including a 3rd one with Pinshot's Variety Hour, not doing very well. Which is a shame, because the Pepsi War episode of Sammy and Minotti where the Pepsi Predator fights Pepsi Man had to be my favorite of the videos outside of the DDLC stuff. But this all ended, and the original plan for the hard reboot would begin, which was originally going to all be done in Gary's mod, after Dress Never's Day 4, but then I deleted my channel. Now that I'm back, the hard reboot has gone through some more planning, and I hope to at least get it started in the beginning of 2024. I hope to make the reboot much better and not make the same mistakes that I previously made. So anyway, that will be it for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe and spread the word of the channel. I hope to see you all next time where we go over the Cyanide Friends Season 3 scripts. Bye bye!